One boy didn't have a mom and dad. They died, and he lived with his grandmother. But Grandma was very old and couldn't keep an eye on the boy all the time. Therefore, the boy often skipped school and came home only when he wanted to eat and sleep. The rest of the time, he walked by himself, stole apples from other people's gardens, teased other children, and sometimes adults. Even as a boy, he loved to look into other people's windows. He could spend a lot of time watching how other children who have moms and dads live. Sometimes, when he saw children being scolded and punished, he was glad that he only had a grandmother. But more often he got angry when he saw that moms and dads loved their children, spoiled them and gave them gifts. And when the boy got angry, he threw a stone at the window and broke the glass. It seemed to him that this was how he was ruining the lives of other children. But when he returned a few days later to the window that he had broken, the boy saw that he had not been able to do anything wrong. The boy was caught several times, even severely beaten once, but he still continued to look out the windows and smash them. One day, the boy was walking far from his house and saw a very old house. In such an old house, the boy thought, happy children hardly live. But when he looked through the window, he saw that there were many children living in this house and they had a mom and dad. The children also had a lot of toys, and they all played together and didn't fight. And even Dad played with the kids. The boy moved away to escape, picked up a large stone from the ground, threw it through the window and immediately ran away. But before he had run 10 steps, he stopped. Because I didn't hear the sound of broken glass. Then the boy picked up another stone and threw it out the window again. He even saw a stone fly straight through the window, but instead of breaking the glass, the stone disappeared into the window, as if there was water instead of glass. The boy threw a few more stones, but they also disappeared into the glass without breaking it. And when the boy returned to the window, he saw that the whole family, children and adults, were looking out the window, directly at the boy. Although they couldn't see him because it was dark outside. And then the boy saw that someone else had appeared in the room. It was a huge creature with long tentacles like an octopus. The creature swam up to the window and also looked at the boy, although he had no eyes. And it seemed to the boy that the window went straight into the depths of the ocean. And then the tentacles reached out to the boy right through the glass. But the boy managed to jump away. Then the creature got out of the window and again its long tentacles reached out to the boy. The boy ran away. He was so scared that he ran all the way home. But no one caught up with him. That creature apparently could only live in water. The boy told his grandmother about this monster. I saw him on TV, the boy lied. Don't be afraid, said Grandma, it's a chimera. Such creatures live only at the very bottom of the ocean, and even when they float up, they die. And anyway, the boy didn't go to that house anymore. And now he was trying to stay away from any windows. After all, now it seemed to him that behind the glass he could see the depths of the ocean. And then he saw the chimera again. The boy was standing outside a toy store and looking at new toys in the window. But suddenly the light behind the window went out, and a chimera floated out of the blackness outside the window. It was as if she was waiting there, and immediately the tentacles reached out to the boy. The boy screamed and jumped back, right under the feet of some passerby, so that he knocked the boy off his feet and the tentacles of the chimera grabbed the void. Hey, kid, be careful, said a passerby, picking up the boy from the ground. The boy pointed at the shop window. But the chimera was no longer there. At home, The boy covered the windows with paper before going to bed. But when he went outside the next day, he could see the dark ocean water in all the windows, where the Chimera was waiting for him. She swam from one window to another and waited for the boy to get close. But the boy was on his guard and stayed away from the windows. "You'll never be able to get to me," a boy shouted through one of the windows. The Chimera did not answer, but the boy felt that she was watching him. It wasn't difficult to escape from the Chimera. At school, he sat at the farthest desk, away from the windows, and at home he asked his grandmother to cover the windows with paper or curtains. And in the store near the house where the boy went to buy bread, the windows had long been painted over. But the Chimera continued to wait, watching the boy from afar from those windows that were not sealed. And the next day it started to rain, and there were big puddles left after it. The boy was returning home from school, having almost forgotten about the Chimera. He only looked around occasionally, so as not to get too close to the houses. But suddenly, when he stepped into a puddle, his foot sank to his knees, although the puddle was not so deep. And when the boy looked down, he saw that there was no longer a puddle under his foot, but a hole in the depths of the ocean. The boy quickly pulled out his leg, and the tentacles of the Chimera were already reaching out from the hole behind him. The boy started running, but there were too many puddles around, and the Chimera was moving much faster underwater. One of the tentacles finally grabbed the boy's leg. "Help me!" the boy shouted. But the people who were walking by didn't seem to notice anything, and they moved slowly and smoothly, as if they were underwater. Another tentacle of the Chimera grabbed the boy's other leg. The boy fell. "Help me!" the boy shouted once more. People began to look around and look for the one who was shouting. They seemed surprised, and then they began to raise their hands and point at the boy. "Help me!" the boy shouted again. But people just stared at him in silence. They had no mouths or eyes, and instead of arms, they had wriggling tentacles.